Abena, the pastor's daughter, hid her love for Abdul, fearing her strict father's wrath. Their secret meetings couldn't last forever. When their affair was exposed, it rocked their church community, leading to a fierce confrontation and a fight for their love. The small village of Abidjan was known for its vibrant church community. Every Sunday, families dressed in their best clothes and gathered at the church, led by the respected Pastor Kofi. His sermons were powerful, and his guidance was sought by many. Pastor Kofi was a strict and traditional man. He upheld the values of the church and expected his family to do the same. His daughter Abena was seen as the perfect example of a pastor's child. She was kind, obedient, and always involved in church activities. But Abena had a secret. She was in love with Abdul, a young Muslim man from the village. Abdul was different from the others. He was free-spirited and often stirred a fire in her, a burning passion that often made her question the strict rules of the church. Abena and Abdul's paths crossed during a community event, and they felt an immediate connection. They began meeting in secret, knowing that Pastor Kofi would never approve of their relationship. Abena felt torn between her love for Abdul and her loyalty to her father and the church. The vibrant church community was unaware of the hidden affair that would soon shake their world. Abena and Abdul's secret meetings became the highlight of their days. They found hidden spots in the village where they could talk and laugh without fear of being discovered. Each moment they spent together made their bond stronger, but also deepened Abena's fear of what would happen if they were caught. One evening, as the sun was setting, Abena met Abdul near the river. The water sparkled in the fading light, and the air was filled with sounds of nature. Abdul took Abena's hands, looking into her eyes with sincerity. "Abena, I love you. I want us to be together, but I know how difficult it is for you." Abena sighed, feeling the weight of her conflicting emotions. "I love you too, Abdul, but my father would never understand. He has such high expectations for me. I don't want to disappoint him, but I can't deny my feelings for you." Abdul gently squeezed her hand. "We will find a way, Abena. Love can overcome anything, even the strictest rules. We just have to be strong and believe in us." As their relationship grew, rumors began to spread within the church community. People noticed Abena's frequent absences and whispered about her mysterious behavior. Pastor Kofi remained unaware, but the tension was palpable. One Sunday after the church service, a group of women gathered outside, speaking in hushed tones. "Have you heard about Abena? They say she has been sneaking around with that boy, Abdul." "That Muslim boy," one woman said. Another woman shook her head. "Pastor Kofi would be furious if he found out. He expects so much from her. This could bring shame to his family." "Thank God my daughter isn't like that wayward girl. Imagine, a pastor's daughter with a Muslim boy." The rumors reached Abdul's ears, and he knew it was only a matter of time before Pastor Kofi discovered the truth. He decided to talk to Abena about it during one of their secret meetings. "Abena, people are talking. They are starting to suspect us," Abdul said, worry edged on his face. Abena's heart raced. "What should we do, Abdul? I don't want to lose you, but I'm so scared of what my father will do." "We need to be careful, but we also need to be honest. Hiding our love will only make things worse. Maybe we should tell your father the truth and face the consequences together," Abdul suggested. Abena hesitated, the thought of confronting her father terrifying her. "I don't know if I can, Abdul. He's so strict. I don't want to cause a scandal." Abdul wrapped his arms around her, trying to comfort her. "Whatever happens, we will face it together. Our love is worth fighting for." Days turned into weeks, and the rumors continued to grow. Pastor Kofi began to notice the change in his daughter's behavior. She seemed distant, distracted, and often lost in thought. His suspicions grew, but he remained silent, hoping it was just a phase. One evening, as the family sat down for dinner, Pastor Kofi decided to address his concerns. "Abena, you've been acting strangely lately. Is there something you need to tell me?" Abena's heart pounded in her chest. She glanced at her mother, who looked equally worried. Taking a deep breath, she replied, "No, father. Everything is fine." Pastor Kofi's eyes narrowed. "I hope you are telling the truth, Abena. You know how important it is to uphold our family's reputation." Abena nodded, feeling the weight of her father's expectations. She knew she couldn't keep the secret much longer, but the thought of revealing the truth filled her with dread. Meanwhile, Abdul struggled with his own fears. He loved Abena deeply and wanted to be with her, but he knew that their relationship would never be accepted by the church community. He often confided in his friend, Kwame, seeking advice. "Kwame, what should I do? I love Abena, but I don't want to cause her pain or trouble with her family," Abdul said, his voice filled with frustration. Kwame sighed, understanding the complexity of the situation. "Love is never easy, Abdul. You have to be honest with yourself and with Abena. If your love is strong enough, you'll find a way to overcome the obstacles." The pressure continued to build, and Abena found it increasingly difficult to maintain the facade. She longed to be with Abdul openly, without fear or shame. One day, she decided to take a bold step. "Abdul, let's tell my father the truth. I can't keep living like this, hiding and lying. It's tearing me apart," Abena said, her voice resolute. Abdul nodded, feeling a mixture of relief and apprehension. "I'm with you, Abena. We will face this together." The next Sunday after church service, Abena and Abdul waited outside the church. They knew that this was their moment to come clean. As Pastor Kofi exited the church, they approached him, their hearts pounding. "Father, there's something I need to tell you," Abena began, her voice shaking. Pastor Kofi looked at his daughter, sensing the gravity of the situation. "What is it, Abena?" Abena took a deep breath. I love Abdul. We've been seeing each other for a while now, and I can't keep it a secret anymore." Pastor Kofi's face turned red with anger. "What? How could you betray our family like this, Abena? Not only are you in a relationship, but with a Muslim? What demon has possessed you into this act? Impossible! This is unacceptable." Abdul stepped forward, trying to calm the pastor. "Sir, I love Abena with all my heart. We didn't mean to cause any harm. We just want to be together." Pastor Kofi's eyes blazed with fury. "Shut up your mouth, you scallywag! What do you know about love? You think you can just waltz in here and defy our beliefs? This is a disgrace. What will people say? That my daughter is having an affair with a Muslim? A pastor's daughter? Oh Lord, I have failed. You will end this relationship immediately, or there will be serious consequences." Abena felt tears welling up in her eyes. "Father, please try to understand. I love Abdul. We can't just end it here. We can't. Please." Pastor Kofi turned his back on them, his voice cold and final. "You have brought shame to this family, Abena. I am deeply disappointed in you." With those words, he walked away, leaving Abena and Abdul standing in the churchyard, their hearts heavy with the weight of their forbidden love. The revelation of Abena and Abdul's affair spread quickly through the church community. Gossip and judgment filled the air as people whispered about the scandal. Abena felt the eyes of the congregation on her, their disapproval like a heavy burden. Pastor Kofi was deeply hurt and angry. He felt betrayed by his own daughter and struggled with the shame it brought to his family. He spent sleepless nights contemplating how to handle the situation, torn between his love for Abena and his commitment to his church's values. One afternoon, Mama Efua, a close friend of the family, visited their home. She sat with Pastor Kofi, offering words of comfort. "Kofi, this is a difficult time for your family. But remember that love and understanding are important. Abena is still your daughter." Oh. Pastor Kofi sighed, his heart heavy with turmoil. "I know, Efua. But this betrayal is hard to accept. How can I reconcile my duty to the church with my love for my daughter? Mama Efua placed a hand on his shoulder. You must find a way to balance both. Talk to Abena. Understand her feelings. Sometimes, love can guide us through the darkest times. Taking Mama Efua's advice to heart, Pastor Kofi decided to speak with Abena. He found her sitting alone in her room, tears streaming down her face. Abena, we need to talk, he said gently. Abena looked up, her eyes filled with sorrow. Father, I'm so sorry for everything. I never wanted to hurt you or bring shame to our family. Pastor Kofi sat beside her, his voice softening. I know, Abena, but you must understand the position you've put us in. Our family is held to a high standard, and this affair has caused a scandal. People are talking. Abena wiped her tears, her voice trembling. I love Abdul, Father. He makes me happy. I know it's against the church's rules, but I can't help how I feel. Pastor Kofi sighed deeply. Love is a powerful thing, Abena, but it must be balanced with respect for tradition and values. I need time to think about this. As the days passed, the tension within the family grew. Abena felt isolated, torn between her love for Abdul and her loyalty to her father. Abdul, too, faced backlash from the community, but he remained steadfast in his love for Abena. One evening, Abdul visited Abena at her home, determined to show his commitment. Abena, we will get through this. I am not giving up on us, he said, holding her hand. Abena smiled weakly, grateful for his support. Thank you, Abdul. Your love gives me strength. The confrontation between Abena, Abdul, and Pastor Kofi loomed large, each day bringing them closer to a resolution that would change their lives forever. The following Sunday, the church was filled with an air of anticipation. The congregation sensed that something significant was about to happen. Pastor Kofi, with a heavy heart, took his place at the pulpit, his eyes scanning the familiar faces. Abena and Abdul sat at the back of the church, their hearts pounding with anxiety. They knew that today would be the day when everything came to a head. As Pastor Kofi began his sermon, his voice was filled with emotion. Brothers and sisters, today I must address a matter that has brought great pain to my heart. It concerns my own family, and it is a matter of love and betrayal, he said, his voice shaking. The congregation fell silent, their eyes fixed on the pastor. Abena felt a lump in her throat, knowing that the moment of truth had arrived. Pastor Kofi continued. My daughter Abena has been involved in a secret relationship with Abdul, a Muslim boy. This affair has caused a scandal within our community and has brought shame to our family. Gasps and murmurs filled the church as the congregation reacted to the revelation. Abena felt tears welling up in her eyes, but she stood up, her hand gripping Abdul's for support. Father, please let me speak, Abena said, a voice trembling but determined. Pastor Kofi nodded, his eyes filled with a mix of anger and sorrow. Abena walked to the front of the church, her heart pounding in her chest. Yes, it's true. I love Abdul. We've been seeing each other in secret because we knew that our relationship would never be accepted. Abena began, her voice strong despite her fear. But our love is real. It's not something we can just turn off because it's inconvenient or against the rules. Abdul joined her at the front, his presence a source of strength. We didn't mean to hurt anyone. We just wanted to be together. I love Abena, and I will stand by her no matter what. The congregation watched in stunned silence as the couple stood before them, their love and determination clear. Pastor Kofi's face was a mask of conflicting emotions. He felt the weight of his duty to the church, but also the love he had for his daughter. Elder Nana, a respected member of the church, stood up. Pastor Kofi, we understand the importance of tradition and values, but we must also remember that love is a gift from God. Sometimes we must open our hearts and minds to see things differently. Mama Efwa nodded in agreement. Abena and Abdul's love is strong. We should not judge them harshly for following their hearts. Let us find a way to support them and guide them. The congregation began to murmur, many nodding in agreement with Elder Nana and Mama Efwa. The tension in the room slowly started to ease as people considered the possibility of acceptance and understanding. Pastor Kofi took a deep breath, feeling the weight of the decision before him. He looked at Abena and Abdul, seeing the love and sincerity in their eyes. Abena, Abdul, I have struggled with this situation deeply, but I see now that love is not something we can control or dictate. It is a powerful force that can bring both joy and pain. He paused, his voice softening. I will not stand in the way of your love, but you must understand the responsibility that comes with it. You must be willing to work hard to gain the acceptance and respect of our community. Abena and Abdul nodded, their hearts filled with relief and gratitude. We will, Father. We promise to honor our love and work to earn the trust of the community, Abena said, tears streaming down her face. The congregation applauded, their hearts touched by the powerful display of love and acceptance. The scandal that had threatened to tear the community apart had instead brought them closer together. As the service ended, Pastor Kofi embraced Abena and Abdul, his heart filled with a mix of sadness and hope. I love you, Abena, and I trust that you will make the right choices. Abena hugged her father tightly. Thank you, Father. I love you too. Abdul joined the embrace, feeling the warmth of acceptance. The journey ahead would be challenging, but with love and support, they knew they could overcome any obstacle.